Hello there, this is going to be the last video on while loops, and in this one we are going to talk about working with a list using a while loop. Now before we get on to that, let's review what a while loop is. A while loop runs until a condition is true. Now on contrary, a for loop runs until it runs out of item in the list. So you don't need to worry about stopping a for loop. A for loop always ends. It always ends because the list is not unlimited. There are limited items. But with while loop, it will run until the condition is true. So sometimes we want to run an infinite while loop, but sometimes we don't. When we don't, we need to worry about how to end our loop. And there are multiple ways to break out of a while loop. So the first one is fairly straightforward. You keep track of a number and you change the number until the condition is false. So in this case, I'm saying increment a number, let's say n is less than 10. And if you keep incrementing, n will become 11 and the condition will become false. And the second one is use a flag. You remember flag is a variable in which we store true. And then you can set it to false. So you can do while my flag is while my flag, so you set your flag to true and you run your while loop with the flag, and in the loop you can set your flag to false and that will stop your loop from running. And the last one, which is the most straightforward, is you can use the break keyword. When you use break, Python immediately gets out of the loop. Now let's look at how we can use while loop with a list. And we have several examples from the book that I'm going to show. So let me open my terminal and create a file. Touch while list.py. Let me open the file while list.py. And let's look at our first example. I'm gonna copy these two lists. I have two lists. One is called confirmed user, unconfirmed users. The other is confirmed users. And my goal is to empty the first list and add items into the second. That's my goal. Empty unconfirmed users and put them into confirmed users. Now if you remember from our if lesson, that you can use if and the list. This is used to check if the list is not empty. If the list is not empty. So this is a shorter way of saying len list must be greater than 0. This is how you check if your list is not empty, and you can do the same thing with a while. And this becomes much more interesting. While unconfirmed users. So you are asking Python while the list is not empty, run the code below. So you can get each user from unconfirmed users using pop, and then you can append it to confirmed users. Append to confirmed users. Now you can print your user. You can say popping user, and finally after you are done removing all of the users, you can print them. For user in confirmed users, you can print confirmed user. And just to show you, I can show you both lists, confirmed and unconfirmed. So print unconfirmed users and confirmed users. Now let's run our code while list.py, while list.py. Now first we popped Cadence, Brian and Alice. Pop gives us the last item. So first it gave us Cadence, then Brian, and finally Alice. And then we got these confirmed users, and unconfirmed become empty, and in the confirmed list we got Cadence, Brian and Alice. Now if you want to use the items in the same order, you can do that as well. You can give the index 0, and now we got them in the same order, because now it's removing the first item. So it's up to you. If you want to get the last item, you use pop with no arguments. If you want the first item, you use pop with 0. 0 means the first index. So let's run it again. And this is a way of printing the name of the variable with the value. So here I am doing unconfirmed users, which is empty. Now this is the same as doing this. This is the same as doing this. I can put the name of the variable here and type it like this. Now this is a little longer. So normally what we do, we just put an equal sign here. So the star of the show here is this condition. Our loop is running until there are items in unconfirmed users. Again, if this is, we are saying while the len of unconfirmed users is greater than 0, and in the loop we are changing our list. That's why the condition will become false at some point. We are popping the items, so at some point all of the items will be gone and the condition will become false and we will get out of the loop. So this is it for this example. Let's look at the other. I think this one is very good. So let me delete all of the code, and I have a list of pets, and I want to remove all the cats from it. You can see there are multiple, 1, 2 and 3, and there can be more. There can be 1,000 cats. I will not know how many there are. And we learned about a method called remove. The problem with remove is that it only removes the first instance. So it will remove the first cat only, and I can show you. After I remove, I can print my pets list, and I will print it. So it removed the first cat, then I got 2 dogs, and there are still the second cat and the third cat. I can copy and paste it 3 times because I know how many cats I have, and it will remove all of them. If I try to remove again, I'm gonna get an error. Python will say there are no cats. X is not in list. Now you can see there are multiple problems with this approach. The first problem is that I'm copying and pasting the code and I don't know how many cats there are. If I knew there will be exactly 3 cats, this will work. If I don't know how many there are, this will not work. That's why we can use a while loop. We can do while cat n pets. This is another way of checking a condition. You are asking, is this item in my list? So the first time it will be present here, you're gonna remove the item. The second time you're gonna remove it, the third time you're gonna remove it, and so on until the condition becomes false. When there are no cat, the condition will become false and we're gonna get out of the loop. So let's run it. Python while list.py. No cats. And you can go even further. You can create a variable for cat, and you can just say while item in pets remove item. Now you can change item to dog and it will remove all the dogs. Python while list.py, it removed all the dogs. Using this kind of logic, you can even create your own function for removing all. I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but I think it's a good practice. So I can create my own function called remove all. It will take a list and it will take an item and it will remove all items. Now you can pass these the list pets and your item dog, or I can say cat in this example, and it will remove all the cats. Very good example. So this is it for the second example. Now let's look at the third one. The third one is very interesting. We have a dictionary. And we are going to add items inside our while loop until the user gives us input. So we have a flag polling active, and let's do polling active, use it in our while loop, and we're going to take two inputs, one for the key and one for the value. So input what is your name, response. We are asking what mountain would you like to climb. Well, let's ask a simpler question. What is your favorite language? Now I can add that the name and response into my responses dictionary using the name as a key and response as a value. And I can ask them if they want to repeat the poll. Would you like to let another person respond? Now if repeat is no, we set our flag to false. That's it. We are done with our while loop. Now we can print our results by looping through our dictionary. So for key comma value and responses dot items, I can print the key and value. So let's do a trick, a f-string trick to format our output nicely. So that's our code. Let's run it and see what happens. Python while list.py. What is your name? June. What is your favorite language? Of course, Python. Yes, I would let another person answer. Let's say Alice. And Alice likes JavaScript. She likes JavaScript. Yes, let's let another person respond. Let's ask Bob. Now Bob likes, I don't know, what does Bob like? Let's say he likes React, which is a framework. Yes, Charlie likes Django, which is another framework. Now we can say no, and it will give us these results. You can go one step further and store these items inside a file using JSON module. Now we haven't talked about filing yet, but I wanted to show you how it would look like. I can say responses.json mode equal to w and indent, no, not here, as f, Now I can do json.dump responses f, and I can do indent equal to 4. Let's run our example again. Python while list.py, and let's repeat the same responses. Python, yes. Alice, JavaScript, yes. Bob, Django, yes. Charlie, and let's say Charlie likes Node. No. Now it prints the results, but it also saves that in a file called responses.json. Let me open the file and show you responses.json. Now June is a key and Python is the values, the responses dictionary that we created here. We filled it inside while loop, we printed it here, and finally we put it in a file called responses. So that's a very real world example how you would gather the data and put that in a text file. So this is it for this video. We learned quite a lot. We learned that we can use a list to check if it's not empty. We can remove multiple items until the item is inside our list, and finally we checked how we can fill our dictionary using a while loop. We can also fill a list using a very similar idea. Instead of you asking for a name and a response, we can keep asking for just one value. As a matter of fact, let's see what I mean. So let's say my list, and I can do while true item equal to input, what do I add, and if item is equal to quit, I can break out of my loop. Otherwise I can do list dot append item, and finally I can print my list. So let's print the list. Python while list.py, what do I add? Let's say I'm making a grocery list, so add some tomato, and now let's add some milk, egg, bacon, and let's do quit, and it created a list for me. Very good idea. Now this is it for this video. In the next one we are gonna solve the try it yourself section. Thank you so much for watching it, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.